Hi guys, it's Jen here at Check Her Joy, and this time I'm reviewing The Absolutely True Diary of a Part-Time Indian, a novel by Sherman Alexie, with art by Ellen Forney. So this is teen fiction, and it focuses on Junior, who grows up on a Native American reservation. It's really funny story, but it's also tragic and sad. Like, I literally was laughing out loud and crying my eyes out while reading this book. So the story is written as Junior's journal, and it's a combination of his story told in a very conversational tone and also through his art and his drawings. And we see the way, and so we see Junior's worldview both through words and through the art, which is a really cool way to blend the two of them together. So the very first thing we find out about Junior is that he was born with too much fluid on the brain, and this has caused all kinds of problems with him. His head is a little bit deformed. He has to be careful that he doesn't bruise his brain too much, so massive physical contact sports are kind of out. He's got to wear glasses. He definitely stands out even on the reservation. He, like all the other people on the reservation, is incredibly poor, and that starts playing a huge part into the story. Um, and he's also Native American. So it starts off with Junior's freshman year of high school, and we see very soon in the story how poor the reservation is, how little resources they have, and also what a big deal alcoholism plays within the Native American community, especially on Junior's reservation. Um, so the schooling thing is kind of where the story takes off, where he doesn't quite fit in with the other people on the reservation. He only really has one friend, Rowdy, and so he feels isolated. And it doesn't help that even though he's trying to do well in school, the resources they have aren't that great. Like, the textbook he has been used for so many years, for 30 years, that Junior actually has the exact same textbook that his mom used in high school. Yay! Because everyone wants a 30-year-old science textbook. And Junior flips out. He completely loses it when he sees this. He ends up throwing the book at the teacher and ends up in trouble. And when the teacher comes to see him, he sits down and they have this conversation and convinces Junior that he really should go to school not on the reservation, that it's going to be his only chance to really have a future. Like, if he stays on the reservation, he's either physically going to die or he is going to have his spirit completely crushed and killed. So Junior makes this very brave decision to go to this white school in the neighboring town of Reardon. It's Reardon. So Junior makes this decision to become the first person to leave the reservation and go to school in this white school in Reardon, where he totally stands out because he's Native American. And so we see Junior's look as he does his transition from the Native American school to the white school, how hard he's trying at school, but also how bad being poor is, because the school is 20 miles away. And sometimes he can get a ride, sometimes he can't. Sometimes he has to hitchhike his way. Sometimes he has to walk the entire 20 miles to get to school. And Junior doesn't want to admit to his white classmates how poor he is. Slowly, Junior does start finding his way at Reardon within his classmates, becoming better at school, finding his niche. It's really cool to see that. We see stuff like his semi-girlfriend and how they slowly, roughly start dating. See Junior trying out for the basketball team. I mean, it's cool to see him existing in these two worlds, where he lives part of the time in this white school, white neighborhood, where he's the only Indian and doesn't quite fit in. And then he spends the other part of his time on the Indian reservation, where he goes to a white school and doesn't fit in because he's not really a part of the community either. Like, people see him as being different because now he goes to a white school. And so we see him kind of struggling with these two parts of his life. Um, we also see a lot of tragedy happen in Junior's story, especially revolving around alcoholism, um, and how that takes a toll on him, like indirectly, not from him anything he's done with any of his drinking, but because there are so many other people on the reservation and in this community who do. This book is actually really funny and light. Junior has a sarcastic sense of humor. He likes to diffuse situations with humor and avoid situations, like dealing with things straight on. Like, instead of him tackling things, he'll like laugh about it and try to push on. And it's maybe not the healthiest tactic to use, but I'm not gonna lie, it's totally one I use, and I know that there are other people who also use this tactic, so it's totally realistic. And it makes for a funny story. I love the way that Junior sees the world and his narration style. I also like the art in here. Here's Junior's self-portrait and his dorkiness with his glasses and everything. We also have cartoons like this, like here's how Junior sees his parents, which is cool. And we have this other third art style where he's trying to take like more time and create more realistic paintings, drawings, and it's cool to see the art evolve also as Junior gets more confident. This is the first novel I've read in a really long time that focuses on a Native American main character, which we need more of, and we need to be more acceptable and accessible. So the story is important for that reason also, but also because it's just a fun read. It does deal with alcoholism, grief, death. One of his classmates has an eating disorder. Definitely some racism going on here, so there's a few things that might be a little touchy in here, but I like the way that it tackles them all. Go read The Absolutely True Diary of a Part-Time Indian if you haven't already, because it's amazing. Yeah. So peace out, I love you guys, and keep reading. Bye.